Most of the demands were only of interest to our Arab neighbor, but the allegation that Qatar supports terrorism was clearly designed to generate anti-Qatar sentiment in the West.
And we are hearing that they will reject maybe your response that you handed over to the Emir of Kuwait on Monday. Are you
Qatar works against ideologies which entrap young men and women into terrorism, as well as the tyranny and state violence which induce terrorism, while investing 12% of its government spending on education. Qatar has allocated 25% of its foreign aid toward education and believe that education is the cornerstone of stability and the most effective preventive measure for extremism. This is why Qatar has invested in educating 7 million children in 42 countries.
More sanction, even isolation and divorce, as they call it. What happens next?
Qatar opposes violent extremism that is a global threat to all humanity. However, what other countries fail to grasp is labeling political opponents as terrorists. Merely silence them regardless of how we may feel about their agendas is both unjustified and fails to solve any problem. Not only morally wrong, it would likely make the problem worse by driving more people into radicalism and divert attention away from the battle against the genuine terrorist. We are very much concerned about how politicized the label terrorism might come out of this crisis. Should Western governments not take a clear position towards this manipulation of concepts and terminology? As I indicated in my introduction, this manipulation has already and will continue to obscure the real source of violent extremism.
The team demand was in that agreement, and whether it was dealt with or not.
Why did the blockading countries take these extraordinary, unprovoked and hostile actions against Qatar? Put another way, why is Qatar independence such a threat to them? I think it's because we have different views on politics and governance in the Middle East, and about the best path forward for our collective future. In Qatar, we believe that citizens everywhere should have the right to a government that is responsive to their needs and representative of their interests. We are not a democracy. This is a fact, and we don't claim otherwise. But our system of consultative monarchy enjoys widespread and enthusiastic support from our people.
The contingent in Qatar, what the Turkish soldiers could do, which the Americans in Al-Udid.
As the 48 hours extension is coming to an end, Qatar continues to call for dialogue despite the violations of international laws and regulation, despite the separation of 12,000 families, despite the siege that is a clear aggression and an insult to all international treaties, bodies and jurisdictions. Looking at the way forward, we must lay out any and all legitimate concerns and discuss the claims and allegations through presenting evidence and engaging in a constructive dialogue. Qatar stands ready to engage in a negotiations process with a clear framework and set of principles that guarantee that our sovereignty is not infringed upon.